Radical.
You know, this Robert Kirkman guy must be doing something right. Because two of his creations, The Walking Dead and Invincible, at different points of time, were my favorite TV show. Well, I don't know if you say Amazon Prime. I'm still going to say it's a TV show, even though it's on streaming. Well, I'll still call it TV show. Because that's how I approach these things. Like, oh, there's movies, and then there's TV shows. I watch it on a TV, so it's a show, so I'm going to call it a TV show. But I know that technically it's not a TV show. I know he's doing something right, because The Walking Dead, when it came out, and for several years, about half a decade after that, until they started making some terrible choices on the show, and then I left the show, The Walking Dead was my favorite show. And I found it to be incredibly enthralling. And now, Invincible is currently my favorite show. Now, I haven't seen all the shows out there. In fact, probably I haven't seen most shows out there. So maybe there's some better shows that you want to leave to recommend me, even in the same genre. But for what it is, I love the show. And it's a perfect fit for me. Much more than The Walking Dead. Much more so than The Walking Dead, because Invincible to me is kind of like a lot of those old DC and Marvel animated series when I was a child and I'm now grown up. And now I feel like it's the same feel of something like maybe like the Justice League or something in DC or Teen Titans. It's the same feel, but now it's got adult situations and blood. Oh, buckets, buckets, buckets of blood. I tell you, if you like The Walking Dead because for a lot of the gore, this show, first off, let's just get it out of the way. It looks amazing. And in motion, it looks even better. I'm hard-pressed to find anything with as nice of a presentation for this particular animation style. And what's great is there's a sharp contrast between the actual cutesy type animation style. Some people might want to say anime-esque. I don't know if I'll really go there, but the really, really bright, vibrant colors and all the blood and gore and viscera. Who was a wrestler for WWE, wasn't he? The big guy? One of the big guys? Viscera. Big Daddy V? Yeah. I don't know why I just thought of a wrestler there out of nowhere. But all the blood and gore and guts and all that kind of stuff, it just fits. It perfectly fits. And I can't gush over this show even more. I'm on season 3 right now, halfway through season 3, and I'm incredibly heavily invested. Incredibly heavily invested. And the great thing is, if you have watched and followed Avengers, the movies, all that kind of animated stuff, Batman the animated series, Justice League, if you're into all that kind of stuff, there's so many situations here where you'll see characters that have similar type costumes, and yeah, you might want to say creative liberties or straight up rip-offs. Like in this episode, there was an elephant that looked basically just like the Rhino, but it was like an elephant. And there's their version of Batman, but it's not just, I think it's a tongue-in-cheek like, yeah, this is our great value version of these characters. But it works, though. So I'm not even going to say like cheap knockoffs of characters, because there's enough within these particular characters to make them creative, even though they live some of the same abilities. Like in this particular episode, there's a guy that looks kind of like Mr. Fantastic, mix of Martian Manhunter and Mr. Fantastic. But there's enough there with his character to be kind of like a unique character. Now, this episode right here is where it cemented for me that this was currently my favorite TV show. My favorite show right now. Because it perfectly shows, and there's been some great episodes to the lead up of this also, it perfectly shows the transformation from a nice, mild-mannered person through a horrific scene and a horrific loss of two of his loved ones. It shows him basically trying to get justice, not being listened to. And because he's not being listened to, he takes matters into his own hands. And it's not a happy episode. But the episode is executed so well. Everything about that episode, it's one of the best episodes definitely from this season so far in this season. Or maybe like top 10 episode that I've seen from Invincible. It's just how it perfectly puts you in that position of a person that really has not much of nothing to lose, and they just want vengeance against somebody who they feel in Invincible is equally as responsible as the person he was fighting against, which would be his dad, Omni-Man, in that horrific situation, and all the lives lost there. And even in that episode went hard, because what this show does is it shows you what often is left out in the comic books. All those big superpower brawls and fights when, when Hulk is punching Iron Man through the buildings. You don't see a whole lot of people dying and a whole lot of body parts, but that's a realistic thing that happens. That would realistically be what happens. And Invincible goes there. It goes there. It make no mistake. It's a very authentic telling of what this would be in real life. A real life superhero story. And of course, there's the superhero dramas between the characters. There's the romance, there's the relationships. There's the weird situations. There's the gross out moments. There's a lot of those things that really kind of make this show stand out. As a rough edit here, because I just went on a tangent just kind of gushing over the show, and I just kind of wanted to rein it in a little bit. I'll tell you also, there's a link between this show and The Walking Dead, and that is Glenn. Glenn, he didn't have the best fate in The Walking Dead, but hey, you know what? Kirkman made it up to him here because he's playing the lead character. Well, arguably the lead character. Depends on, I think it's Invincible's story. Some people might point to Omni-Man, but I think Omni-Man's not the main character of this story, even though that's his dad. I would say probably Invincible's the main character. But you have such a star-studded cast, great voice actors. Steven Yeun's doing a great job here. Also, Seth Rogen is the alien, Alan the Alien. Great provided comic relief, and also a really strong fucking character. Yeah, man, but these battles, this artwork, the sound design, the voice acting, everything is top fucking notch in this show. You owe it to yourself to check out Invincible if you at all have a passing interest, and if you like the work of Robert Kirkman, if you have a passing interest in anything superhero related, and you have a stomach for all the blood and gore and all that kind of stuff, there's so many ways to sell this to people, even if they don't like traditional superhero type stuff. There's a lot of gore elements here. Some, I'm not going to say horror, but anyone that's into like a lot of the slasher movies and stuff like that, there'll be scenes here where you're like, damn, that guy just got run the fuck through. And yeah, you see so much detail. But yeah, you have to see Invincible. I'm telling you right now. This is not going to be time wasted. The only thing that sucks is about the Amazon Prime player, as opposed to a YouTube player or a Netflix player. From what I see, there's no way you can double speed it. I mean, that's such a lack. Unless I've seen some kind of a super secret setting, I would love to be able to double speed because I've gotten so good at taking in information twice as fast. I do that when I'm watching movies now, DVDs, Netflix, YouTube videos. I double speed everything because, everything just seems so slow to me. But that's the only knock I have against it is the platform actually it's on. If there was a separate player, that would be a lot nicer. But yeah, check it out, Invincible, now on Amazon Prime.